Hello, viewers. So, in my series of videos on personality development, having covered the first important trait of self confidence in my last post, today I shall touch upon yet another significant trait, which is communication skills. Now, the importance of communication skills. We all know how important it is to convey your ideas. It's a force multiplier, friends, as far as your career opportunities or growth goes, because however good you may be professionally and with ideas, if you can't convey them, if you can't present them, it's of no use. A good leader has to be very effective in communication, and likewise it improves teamwork as well. Relationships, of course, can make or break due to misunderstandings or lack of communication. And lastly, in conflicts, the negotiator, who's the most important person sitting there between two parties who are at variance with each other, if he is not able to communicate or bring both the sides on a common agreeable agenda, the whole matter is you know of no use. Certain elements in communication: firstly, verbal communication. You need to be clear with a correct pitch, and at times articulate your tone wherever required. Simple and direct language is always the best, and remain positive. When you don't speak and yet you communicate, that's non-verbal communication. Body language, your eye contact, your gestures, they speak louder than even words, and you yourself can realize that. You meet a person who's sitting with his arms folded, legs crossed, and not looking at you directly. You instantly notice that there is something amiss. He's not approachable. He's not going to be friendly. So that's where non-verbal communication comes. You don't need to even speak much. The ideas or your relationships have been affected just by the body language. Very important how you write your emails with the correct etiquette, prepare your reports, draft your proposals. Equally important is how you receive someone's communication. You got to be a good listener, focusing on the person, showing your interest, do not distract him, and acknowledge if you are in agreement or you are understanding the point of view. Now, various platforms where these communication skills come into play. Interpersonal communication, when you're talking one on one with just one person or two people. In group discussions, certain social gatherings, conflict resolution I had covered earlier. Public speaking and presentations, that is the most significant of platforms where this skill comes in handy. You got to make a formal speech, you are giving a lecture or teaching some students of yours, crowd management, it's more for people like us who have been in uniform, whether police or the army. Crowd control cannot be just done by using force. You need to get up, speak, address the crowd, maybe pacify them, or at times convey some ideas or listen to their ideas. All this is part of how good you are in your communication skills. Maybe some rally or function you are uh, suddenly asked to give a vote of thanks or inaugurate an event by giving a short speech. That is where you need to have good skills or good traits in communication. Professional communication, your emails, your reports and presentations, while in a meeting or discussions, how you are conveying your ideas, listening to ideas, negotiating at times a business deal, and of late, this is the most frequently and often used platform, digital communication, which includes your social media posts. How do you come across on your personal wall, whether it is Twitter or Insta, Facebook, virtual meetings and video calls? Very often we are required to have meetings online for remote work. There again, you need to be presentable, you need to speak clearly, loudly, be attentive. So these are the platforms where communication skills are most likely to be used. Lastly, friends, let me give you some practical tips how we can improve our communication skills. Though some of these may look very elementary, but still, it's always good to have a list of these things handy. In verbal communication, you have to constantly make efforts to improve your vocabulary. Speak slowly, clearly, using simple, direct language, and do practice at times public speaking. Or whenever you get a chance to go up front and give a talk, do not hesitate. It will give you a lot of confidence. Public speaking, of course, I will cover as a separate session altogether. In your talk, you may like to use some analogies or stories, anecdotes, and match your tone to your message. Say you want to highlight important aspects. You may raise the pitch. Don't speak as a monologue, and avoid these filler words which most of the modern day youth or the Westerners like to use. Uh, um, like such like slang words. You may pause if you want, and if need be, record yourself. See how you are, you know, going about the whole thing. As far as non-verbal communication is concerned, goes without saying, maintain eye contact. Don't keep looking down or looking up in the sky or the roof. Do not stare at a particular person. One handy tip is always to, see if there's a large audience, just see at their level of their foreheads or the head. That way you will not get distracted by someone looking at you directly or smiling or something. Gestures I covered earlier. Posture, of course, should be uh, straight and, of course, relaxed. Don't be too stiff. Reduce unnecessary movements, tapping your fingers or shaking your legs. Distracts the audience, and you may, make a joke of yourself. Stay at a comfortable distance. Need not be too close, especially in a professional or a business meeting. Ideally, about 2 to 3 feet. And control your facial expressions as well, as far as you can control. Sometimes, if it's a habit, one can't help it. Forced smile, you know, looks fake, so avoid it. Or if you frown or have, as they call it, furrowed brow, it seems you are unapproachable. So again, you may like to avoid it. So with these tips, I can say that if you combine uh, a strong verbal and confident non-verbal communication, you will have ideal results. So friends, this is what I had to talk about communication skills. So out of the 8 most significant traits on personality development which I intend to cover in this series, I am done with self-confidence and communication skills. Next we get on to interpersonal relations. Stay tuned and hope to see you next time. Jai Hind.